blade and quill. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today it's all about cartoon eyes. Alright, so let's not waste any time and let's get started. Click on the layer that is above the background. We are going to click on the ellipse tool. We want to create a nice oval form, and we want it to be filled with a color, and we want it to have an outline. So right now my colors are these right here. I want to go back to the default black and white, so I'm going to click on the letter D like dad, to get back to black and white. I want my form to be filled with a background color because the background is white, and I want the outline to be brush. It says brush because it means that whatever size my brush is, the thickness of the outline will be, if that makes any sense. So right now my size of the brush is 5 pixels, therefore the size of the outline will be exactly that size, 5 pixels. And also it will be the color of my brush, and my color of the brush right now is black for the foreground, therefore the outline will be black. So let's do a nice little eye right here. We are going to double click on the layer and we are going to just rename it white. We are going to create a new layer, and this time I don't want an outline, so I'm going to say no outline, and I want the foreground color. The reason why I say foreground color is because remember, whenever you pick up a color here on your color wheel, it becomes a foreground color. So I'm going to pick up a nice blue, maybe this blue here, and I am going to create my form right now, right here maybe, right here, very good. And I'm going to double click, rename it blue. Now let's create a new layer, and we are going to now go back to the black and white, so click on D, and I am going, let's leave everything the way it is, and now we are going to create a nice black right here and call it black. So now we have a nice beginning for the eyes. The reason why everything is on its own layer is because sometimes you want to change your minds. For instance, let's say that I was not happy with the size of the blue. I just click on the blue layer. I go here on my transform the layer of a selection icon. You can also do a Ctrl T. And if you hover on the very corner, you see this white arrow with 2 heads. If you hold the Shift key, it will increase the size of what you have selected proportionally. So you see, for instance, I could make it a little bigger. And also, if you hover on the corner, when you see those 2 little arrows, you can tilt things around, you see? So I could tilt just a little if I wanted, and I could move it also maybe closer right here. Now I click on the black. Because this is still selected, I just click once on it and then it appears, the transform tool appears, and I can move, or make it bigger. So first we're gonna make it a little bigger right here, and then you can also move by using this tool right here. It is a move tool, or you can do also the shortcut T on your keyboard, and you can move the eye maybe right here. And yes, that's it. So let's go back to our brush. And actually, you know what? I am going to tilt this back. I'm not very happy with this. Right here. And then the black, we are going to move it. Right here. All right. We are going to create a new layer on the top, and we are going to rename it Effects 1. And we're gonna do another one, and this time we are going to rename it Effects 2. All right, so first thing first, we are going to turn off the black, and we are going to lock the pigments of the blue and lock the pigments of the white. Now, let me show you why. When you lock the pigments of this color here, it means if you were painting something else, and we're gonna use a brush, if I was painting, and let's make the brush bigger right here, something here, you see it will only paint within the area because I locked the pigments. But if I unlock, look what happens, it goes everywhere. So let's do Ctrl Z to undo all of that. Let's relock the pigments. And the thing that we are going to do for the blue, we are going to first pick up the color by doing a Ctrl and click on the blue. So now it picked it up. It tells me, hey, this is where you are in my color wheel. And I am telling KRITA, well, you know what? I want it to be darker. So I'm going to pick up a darker color. I am going to change my brush, and I'm going to go from a fill circle brush to an airbrush soft right here. I am going to now swipe. My opacity is at 50%, by the way, for both of them, the flow and the opacity. And then I'm going to try to do something lighter on the other side because the light is coming on this side. There we go. We're gonna do the same thing with the white. We are going to increase maybe a little the flow and the opacity. We're gonna use a little pink right here, maybe this one here. And we're going to swipe just a little. You see, I just did just lightly right here. That's all we need to do. And then we're gonna use a little gray, but we are going to lower the opacity, and we are going to do it just right here. It's going to give a sense of 3 dimension to the eyeball, okay? So we are done. We go back to the white, the black, and you know the black, I really don't like that black. Ctrl T. I'm gonna make it bigger, and then I'm gonna move it. All right, it's much better. You click B on your keyboard to get back to your brush, by the way. All right, so now we're gonna go to the effects. Here on this one, I am going to go back to the white, so D first to black and white, and then I'm going to click on X on the keyboard to move from the background to the foreground. So remember, X, you're moving from one to the other. And I'm going to decrease the size of my brush using my brackets. And right here, I am going to, my opacity needs to be at 100% and the flow needs to be at 100%. I am going to add this nice little bright spot, all right? And right maybe here I could use another one. All right, and then on this one here I'm gonna make my brush very big, so use your bracket, make it very big, and I am going to swipe very lightly like this, and using the eraser I am going to clean up the areas outside of the eye, right there. And the reason why I put these effects on a different layer is because I am going to decrease the opacity of my layer right here. See how bright it is? I don't want it to be that bright. I want it to be almost invisible. And this is the first eye done. So now we are going to click, holding the Shift key on every layers. We are going to do Ctrl G on the keyboard to group those. And we are going to double click and rename this left eye. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a Control J, like John, to make a copy, and we are going to rename it Right Eye. Okay, so now I am on the right eye. I am going to click on my Move tool right here, and I'm going to move the copy right here. All right. Now I'm going to go to my transform, and you see this little icon right here, it's going to flip it horizontally. So here we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this eye bigger, and I am going to tilt it. And now I'm going to put it right here. But let's go back to the brush, let's do B. Now I'm going to move this layer underneath the other by using this arrow. And now I have this nice little effect. So if this eye you think is too much, you can move it just a little. There you go. And then you could also move this one here and tilt it maybe if you wanted. There you go. All right. All right, the last thing we need to do now is to add some eyebrows. First, let's go back to our regular brush. So let's go back to the Fill Circle brush right here. We are going to use the ellipse tool again, and the foreground color should be black. As you can see, it's black, so we're good. We don't need any outlines. We're going to create an oval shape right here. We're going to first also, of course, create a new layer. Sorry, let's name it Eyebrows. Okay, so now we are on this new layer, we can create our shape. So let's create this long shape like that. And now we are going to use the selection tool, the elliptical selection tool. So click on it and create a nice big round shape. Now if you remember from one of my previous videos, I told you that if you hover on your selection, you can move it. All right, so we're gonna move it around here. And now you just have to click delete on your keyboard. Control Shift A to undo your selection. So here, as you can see, we have created two nice eyebrows. If you don't like it, you can do it another one. You can do another shape right here, hover on it, move it until about here, and click delete. Control Shift A. And then if you really don't like it again, you can use your eraser right here, and then you are back on your brush, click brush, and now you can maybe clean up your edges right here, right? Make it maybe bigger. All right, so I like this eyebrow. I'm gonna keep the first one. I'm gonna do a Control T, and I'm going to move it right here, and I'm going to tilt it like this. Click Enter. Now I'm gonna do a Control J to copy it. Use my Move tool right here to move it. Now go back to the Control T here, the Transform tool, and I'm going to make it this one bigger, tilt it, move it, make it bigger, tilt it, and enter. And then if you want to do some more, go back to brush and then go E for eraser and make some more changes if you want. There you go. And then let's go back to the first one because I don't really like how it looks right now. Here you go, much better this way. And that's it, you have created your eyes. Congratulations! Alright, so that's it for today's tutorial. I will see you next week. Bye!